This is Shantien. Nicknamed the Heavenly Flying Dragon, it is a monster introduced in the Monster Hunter Frontier series, specifically Monster Hunter Frontier G1. Monster Hunter Frontier is widely unknown to a lot of mainline series fans, as it was shut down in late 2019. Throughout a game known for extreme fights and flashy designs, Shantien's fight remains a highlight and stays as one of the most engaging fights in the entire Monster Hunter series, as well as one of my favourite all-time monsters. This is why, in my opinion, Shantien is the pinnacle of Monster Hunter Frontier. Before we can discuss Shantien, we need to discuss the backstory surrounding Shantien's addition. Shantien was added to Monster Hunter Frontier during the Monster Hunter Frontier G1 update, which was released for PC and Xbox 360 on the 17th of April 2013. It was then later released for the PS3 on November 20th, 2013, and for the Wii U on December 11th, 2013. This update was a huge turning point for the Monster Hunter Frontier series, as it introduced G-Rank to the MMORPG. However, it was only in the G2 update for Monster Hunter Frontier that you could do the full fight, as Shantien was a repel quest up until that point, and would be repelled after the third phase of the fight. The in-game description for Shantien is as follows: an elusive elder dragon previously known only from ancient legends. It dwells high in the atmosphere, far above most other creatures, but will rarely descend to ground level. Within the story of Monster Hunter Frontier, Mesoporta, the main village of the game, has begun to explore the skies by using airships. They want to discover never-seen-before regions, as well as new species. While on their expedition, all of their airships are taken down by an unknown elder dragon, that being Shantien. It was then classified by the guild after its discovery. Shantien is a powerful dragon, and is on the same level of power as black dragons such as Fatalis, White Fatalis, and Elatrian, making it one of the strongest monsters in the series from a lore perspective. Shantien was added to Monster Hunter Frontier alongside other monsters such as Pokhara, Pokeradon, Faranoku, Hujikiki, and Midogaren. Shantien is the G-Rank Urgent, so in a sense it is an introduction to the monsters of G-Rank. The quest is placed after Hunter Rank 6, the final test before G-Rank, where your skills as a hunter are really pushed. Purely from aesthetics alone, you can tell that this fight is something special. Shantien is classified as an Elder Dragon, which means that it doesn't fit into any other monster classification. Within the universe of Monster Hunter, most monsters fit into classifications depending on what the Hunters Guild assigns the monster. Shantien defies typical classification, as it is immensely powerful and rare to spot within the world of Monster Hunter, which is traits typically of Elder Dragons. Shantien does have wings, but it doesn't use them for flight. Shantien produces compressed air in its body and releases it out of hairs in the form of blue particles, allowing it to levitate and fly at extraordinary speeds at high altitudes. Shantien's visual design changes as the fight progresses, which I will touch on later. The bright blue and grey colour palette of Shantien is striking and really pop out. It has an elongated body similar to that of a Leviathan, which allows it to have a sleek design and almost glide through the air. Adding on to this, Shantien has some really cool armour and weapon designs that are really unique. Whilst they may not be the most powerful, they certainly are appealing visually. They use the Tensho element, an element unique to Shantien that has a mixture of 3 other elements: fire, water, and thunder. With 2030 defense for the Blade Master set and 1691 defense for the Gunner set, when fully upgraded, Shantien's armour has reasonably good defense. The armor skills are Grace and Fencing for the Blade Master set, and Grace and Steady Hand for the Gunner set. The fight is broken up into 4 phases, with each phase having a variety of different moves that Shantien can throw at the hunter. During Phase 1, Shantien doesn't notice the hunter much. It seems to be a much larger than life figure with its grand entrance. Most of Shantien's attacks in this phase are easy to avoid as they are telegraphed. Shantien only takes notice of the player when the fight goes to Phase 2. Phase 2 is where Shantien starts to take notice, as it flies around in the air using Tensho, spreading the electric blue mist everywhere, and the weather going from blue skies to grey stormy clouds. This is where the hunter needs to incorporate another element of Monster Hunter into the fight, battlements. Typically during siege fights, a range of ballistae and cannons are used. This fight is no exception, having ballistae, one-shot binders, and a hunting gong available to use on a large exploration ship. These will aid in keeping Shantien confined to the deck of the ship, as Shantien will fly off the ship during Phase 2 and 3, making it very difficult to attack if you're using a melee weapon. The good thing about the one-shot binders is they pretty much give a free knockdown every time you hit one on Shantien, so there's a pretty good incentive to use them during the fight. Shantien's attack ramp up in intensity during this phase, as it starts to manipulate the air around it and starts to target the hunter more and more during its attacks. During Phase 3 is where things get serious, as Shantien really takes control of the weather, creating lightning and encasing itself in a force field of wind and thunder energy. This also showcases the power that Elder Dragons have as living forces of nature within the Monster Hunter universe. Shantien starts charging the hunter from each side of the ship, trying to hit the hunter and dealing a lot of damage. This is truly a monumental moment of the fight. The attacks are escalating in power, Shantien is getting faster and the tension is building up. Another attack Shantien will do is a Nova, where it encases itself in a giant shell of blue electrical energy and discharges it, creating this massive cloud of blue light which can paralyze the hunter if they aren't careful. Shantien's power can really be felt during this part of the fight as it actively tries to stop the hunter from killing. At the start of Phase 4, in a fit of rage, Shantien destroys the large exploration ship, sending both itself and you, the hunter, to a volcanic area. This volcanic area is found nowhere else in the game except for this fight. The area is a volcanic region that is mostly empty except for lava eruptions on the floor. Phase 4 is where Shantien reveals its true final form. Its mainly blue appearance adds a glowing orange hue as its aggressiveness, strength and attacks increase, both in frequency and power. Shantien is extremely aggressive in this area, using a wide array of attacks. Sometimes Shantien will fly into the volcano, causing it to become wreathed in flames. Anytime Shantien roars during Phase 4, explosions of lava will erupt in and around Shantien. This is my favourite part of the fight because it takes Monster Hunter and strips it down to its essence, the hunter versus the monster. This further highlights the fact that this is a battle to the death. There is no ship nearby to save you, the guild isn't here, only one of you will make it out of the fight. The fight culminates in Shantien using an attack so powerful that it destroys itself. It is the only monster in Monster Hunter that is so strong that its attacks start to implode within its body, showing Shantien's strength. The music fits extremely well with the fight and corresponds with the current intensity of the fight. There are 4 themes during the fight, each corresponds with the current phase of the fight you are in. I personally consider all 4 of Shantien's themes to be collectively the best monster theme in the entire series. Phase 1 is aptly titled The Azure Dragon Advent. The music is more of an introduction to the fight. It isn't as intense as the themes for the later phases. The strings and the melody really help ground the first phase. It sets the fight well with its simple melody and slow build-up that helps establish the rest of the fight. This theme represents the fact that you are face to face with a larger-than-life creature, almost a god. The theme for Phase 2 is named Azure Dragon Soars to the Heavens. The change in music really reflects the change in weather. At the start of the phase, storm clouds start to appear. There's this ominous undertone in the background of the music. There seems to be very high regard for Shantien, at least musically, because of the way it is treated as an almost regal figure that the hunter shouldn't dare attempt to fight. It is a power beyond the hunter and the guild. Further on within the theme, the music starts to climb, which then causes an incredible increase in the tension within the track. Phase 3 is called Storm Preceding the Verge of Death. A cacophony of sound with a thundering beat throws the listener right into the third phase. It introduces some leap motifs that are used in the fourth theme. Furthermore, the tension that was created in Phase 2 is built upon to a point where it is almost unbearable, once again reinforcing the idea that Shantien is an almost godlike creature, that you, the hunter, are tasked with slaying. An impossible feat. And finally, Phase 4. Labelled Imperial Wrath of the Azure Dragon, it is the final theme of the fight, and in my opinion, this is the best theme in the entire Monster Hunter franchise. The atmosphere this piece of music creates is unbelievable. It truly makes this fight feel like it's you versus a true force of nature. You might be on your last cart or running out of potions, but this theme just allows you to focus on the essence of the game. A standoff between the only thing that matters, the hunter and the monster. The music just adds so much to this phase of the fight, with the relentless melody, the percussion filling the air as you listen to the soundtrack of a battle that will decide the fate of the world. The first time I heard this theme is a moment I will never forget. I will now let the music speak for itself. Overall, Shantien's fight is very solid. There aren't many flaws with the fight. However, when you first fight Shantien, you don't get the full experience. You only get the first 3 areas and then it is a repel quest. So, it isn't as satisfying for the hunter, and they miss out on the best part of the hunt, even though it is a part of the story. Furthermore, if you don't have a weapon with a lot of reach such as the dual blades, the fight isn't the easiest due to Shantien's high mobility, especially in the later phases. Shantien's fight is also tied to the Conquest Wars feature, which restricts players from hunting Shantien, as quests to hunt Shantien rotate in and out depending on whether the Conquest War event is active. To conclude, the pinnacle of Monster Hunter Frontier is Shantien. It has all the hallmarks of a good fight: distinct phases, a good utilization of the different mechanics of the game, such as the Balliste, Hunting Gong, and, on top of all that, it has what many call the best theme in the entire series. That is why Shantien's fight is so good. I honestly believe it needs to appear in the mainline Monster Hunter series, if not in Monster Hunter 6, then sometime after that.